Do you tend to focus on problems or solutions? Your answer has a lot to do with your contentment as well as your effectiveness at work. They are two distinct mindsets that bring very different results. Focusing on solutions helps you stay positive and also helps to motivate those around you. Let's look at the advantages of a solutions mindset as well as some tips on cultivating this attitude. So what exactly is a solutions mindset? It's not always easy to differentiate between a problem versus a solutions mindset. Most of us like to think that we are positive, proactive, and solutions oriented in our thinking. We don't always know ourselves that well, however. It's all too easy to get caught up in the problem and never reach the point of looking for a solution. For example, let me give you a very common situation. You may find a certain colleague or co-worker challenging to deal with. You can simply label him or her as a difficult person and minimize your interaction. Or you can try to see things from his or her point of view and find a common ground. There's evidence that adapting your behavior style to others actually enhances your ability to communicate. Or let me give you another situation. Suppose you identify a certain service or software suite that would allow you to do things more efficiently. You also see, however, that it's beyond your budget. Wishing you had more money for something is typical of a problem-oriented mindset. Instead, you could shift your focus and search for an economical alternative that performs a similar function. The same circumstances can be seen as a temporary roadblock or a permanent obstacle depending on your point of view. It's therefore important to understand that being focused on solutions doesn't mean that you are denying the existence of a problem. The first step in moving forward in any situation is to honestly assess the facts. It's essential to identify the challenges. The trick is not to get fixated on them. This is the main difference between an optimistic rather than a pessimistic mindset. The benefits of a positive mindset: having a positive, optimistic or solutions-oriented mindset brings several advantages. Let's look at them. Having a solutions mindset reduces your stress. Many people today find their jobs or businesses stressful. Your state of mind has a lot to do with your levels of stress. Being optimistic can help you manage stress, which is beneficial to both your physical and mental health. It helps you to make better financial decisions. A study has found that optimists are more likely to make intelligent financial decisions. This makes sense when you consider it. Pessimists who focus on negative outcomes tend to live in a defensive mode trying to avert disaster. An optimist is thinking about ways to gain or benefit. Of course, you also need to analyze things like data, business plans, and past performance. It helps you with an entrepreneurial mindset. Businesses by nature thrive on optimism. You really need an optimistic bent of mind to be an entrepreneur. If you think about all of the things that can go wrong, you will never start a business in the first place. It helps you to become a better salesperson. Nowhere is the solutions mindset more critical than in sales. One of the classical challenges of sales professionals is how to overcome objections. Customers are often very good at coming up with problems. A good salesperson knows how to shift the focus to benefits. In order to do this, of course, you will need to be focused in a positive direction yourself. While it's advantageous to have an optimistic solutions-focused mindset, it's equally important to acknowledge reality. If there is one potential drawback to uncontrolled optimism, it's that you can become blind to the possibility of failure. Taken to an extreme, this can lead to unhealthy risk-taking. Leaders or entrepreneurs often need to balance their naturally optimistic personalities with a realistic analysis of the situation. If you're marketing a product, for example, you need to do ample research to gauge demand. Simply being optimistic won't create sales. This doesn't undermine the benefits of being solutions-oriented. If your mindset is truly focused on solutions, you are not a blind optimist. You're looking at all of the data and seeking ways to overcome challenges. A pure optimist, on the other hand, is more likely to deny and disregard problems. So here are some tips to keep your focus on solutions. Identify problems and challenges as soon as possible. This may seem counterintuitive for a solutions mindset, but it actually works. Problems are generally easier to deal with when spotted early. This gives you a chance to adjust your strategy or resolve the problem while it's manageable. Health problems are a good example of this. It's equally true in the field of finance and marketing. For example, if you're running an ad campaign with a poor ROI, the sooner you realize it, the sooner you can stop pouring more money into it. Second, ask an expert. Very often what appears as an unconquerable obstacle to one person is a simple matter to someone else. For example, if you don't have a technical background, editing your website can be a major challenge. But for someone on your web development team or IT department, meanwhile, it will be just a 10-minute job. If you don't have a dedicated employee or team to address such kind of issue, look into outsourcing. Sometimes a problem is just something outside your particular skill set. If you're one of those extremely self-sufficient entrepreneurs, you may have to remind yourself of this. Next, decide whether to push forward or change your approach or give up. Every situation is a little different. In some cases, the solution is to adapt and get to work. If this is the case, try to get as much help as possible. You will also need to change your approach. In some cases, such as a product that your customers simply don't like, you will need to acknowledge that it's time to give up on that particular idea. If you find yourself grappling with a persistent problem that seems to defy an easy solution, this is often a clue that you need to try something different. Don't fear failure. When you have a problem-oriented mindset, you're usually worried about certain undesirable outcomes. While you do need to consider the costs and consequences of an action, you should also rethink the whole idea of failure. When you don't fear failure, it frees you to a great extent. When you're looking for solutions, you have to be willing to experiment. The experimental approach is to constantly collect information. When something doesn't work, you don't think of it as a failure, but as valuable feedback. So what's the conclusion? A solutions mindset doesn't make problems magically disappear. It does, however, allow you to shift your focus and tackle challenges in a more constructive way. Very often you can deal with the situation more effectively by reframing the way you look at it. All the knowledge is available everywhere. We try and give you the essence or the crux so that you can immediately apply the concept or advice in your day-to-day work and life situations. Hope you found this video useful. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel on YouTube and do it if you haven't done it already. Thanks for watching.